So, right. Well, am I ready? Have you given me the go?
Well, yes. So next up, we have Georgia Varjas, and her topic today will be Expert to Author, 5 Keys to Writing a Compelling Book for Recognition, Revenue, and Credibility. And now you're ready. Take it away.
Voila. So, expert to author. Now, all of us are here are experts, right? Everybody nodding. Of course we are. And all of us are authors. Some of us are authors. Who's an author? And is your book giving you recognition, revenue, and credibility? Is your book giving you those 3 things? Don't have to say it, just think about it. It's a powerful question because a lot of people write books now or they contribute to anthologies. What a nightmare. And nothing happens. They don't use the book to their benefit. They don't know how to use the book to their benefit. They wish they hadn't written the book because it cost them so much money. It's not taking them anywhere. So I want to clear up some of these things and express another way of looking at it, how you can use your writing to live that nourishing, flourishing life. So I have always used words, spoken and written, to make a living all my life. And I've been from a playwright to a producer to a musician. I wrote lyrics. I've written poems. I never thought I would write poetry. I've written poetry, short stories, blogs, articles. Mila, I'm sure you can identify with many of these things because writing is a transferable skill. It's one of the most fantastic ways that we can explore our glorious imagination. And despite going to school where they said to me, you're spending too much time in your imagination, which of course school doesn't encourage critical thinking or imagination or debates, especially nowadays. So we need to remember that these are really fine qualities to develop in all of us, especially the children growing up in the future. So are you using your writing and speaking skills to make a living? Do you find that you can use these skills to bring you recognition, credibility? Does it bring you money as well? Standing desks, okay. Yes, it gives you a chance to move around and you feel like you're on a stage and you can look at everybody and give them that 3-second look that you do at an in-person event. So I want to tell you about a little story about how I got into writing and speaking and using it to grow my business, because it is my business to write and speak. And I encourage it in all age groups, but especially us women, to create that wealth in our lives, to be able to recognize that we have so many skills and talents, the confidence, the courage, the creativity. We talked earlier on about the 3 C's, the small ones, cooking, cleaning, and caring, that we spend far too much time doing instead of building on the big C's. My book is about that one. And I just want to ask you a question. How much money have you actually invested to become an expert, to become a coach? Have you calculated that? The amount of hours and the amount of money that you have invested on yourself? Thousands, I bet. Thousands of dollars, thousands of hours. And do you get that return of investment on it? Do you get your money back on it? Do you feel that you've got that worth from it? Or you're still struggling to make that work? You're still spending out more money on another coach because you haven't been able to package together your expertise into the right kind of book that you can use for speaking. Because definitely here in Europe, when you do speaking gigs, one of the first questions they ask, have you got a book? I don't know what it's like on your side of the pond. Is it the same? Is it happening more? Is it happening less? More people are, oh, she's going now. Didn't even give me 20 minutes. So how many of you have used your book to get a speaking gig? Any of you? Have you made it? Did it do what it did for you? Or is it happening in the United States now that you need a book to get on stage? A lot of organizers here want to see you with a book. Anyway, so these two skills of writing and speaking, I'm going to tell you a little story about what happened to me. And I was in the music business. I was a professional, I was a professional saxophonist, and I'd been touring a lot. And it was usually me and 9 men in a van. Can you imagine that? Would you like to be in a van with 9 men? Okay. Doesn't happen over there, does it? Right. And it was exhausting. And so when I came back, I thought, I have to go away to the sun, spend the winter somewhere and just get away from it all. And within a few days of going away, I didn't take my instrument with me, which was very unusual. And after a few days, I was getting very restless. What should I do with myself? What am I going to do with my hands? And I started writing again. And I started writing poems, rants, raves, monologues, 5 lines, 10 lines, 20 lines, 50 lines. I had a whole packet of stuff. So at that time, I was living in London. And when I went back to London, I went to Ronnie Scott's, which is an international big music club, one of the most famous in London. And there was no music that night. It was really strange. There was a guy, a spoken word artist, who came on and did this monologue for 20 minutes. It was extraordinary. It was captivating. He held my attention. And I thought, that's why I've been writing all these poems and these rants and raves and lines. This is what I was meant to do, to go out on the very spoken word scene in London at that time. All right, that would be great. And just explore it. But I wasn't very good. I didn't really have that combination of performance and poetry and how to deliver and what were the topics, and I just didn't have it. So I started to watch people. I was going to 7, 8, 9, 10 clubs every week, watching, learning, asking questions, as you do when you're learning, watching, questioning, inquiring. You all do that, don't you, in your business? You want to know something, so you ask. You're curious. Who's curious? Anybody curious in this room? So what I realized, what I noticed, was the people who were getting the paid gigs, the people who were getting the best gigs, the ones who were getting the recognition, who were even getting interviews, radio interviews and TV interviews, some podcasts, they were all people who had books, because it was printed proof. Printed proof of who you are and what you do and what you've got to say. And so I found myself a publisher, and he said, use these. Let's get the best of your books together. And it was one of my first books. Words on the Wild Side. What a good title for a poetry book, huh? And so this was my first book, and it got me gigs. It got me out and about. And from there, I was able to grow my business and to explore. And so I knew that the speaking and the writing have to come together. It's the way forward. And women have so many fantastic experiences and stories that have not been told still. You know, we've seen all the road movies by men. Where are those road movies by women? We are writing them now. We're speaking about them now. We're on screen. We're sharing them with people we know. We are out there telling our stories. You can't stop us anymore, because we've got so many different angles, so many different versions of life that's really important for us to explore. So the problem is that, as we know, we women tend to overthink, overanalyze, overplease. We want to please everybody. We don't know our boundaries, and yet we have huge expectations. We're scared to say what we really want. We're scared to step up and say it. We have now developed 59 million syndromes to stop ourselves doing it. And we create more and more every day. In fact, my next book is going to be called 57 and a half excuses and obstacles I've heard in the last week, why I'm not writing my book or writing my speech. Why is it that we stop ourselves? The self-sabotage that we women do is massive. And we stop ourselves from doing something that is really so beneficial. It can take us into the life we want. Now, for example, myself, I live in Spain. I live on the Mediterranean. I live in a beautiful place because I grew my business from writing and speaking. I knew that that was my way to share with the world stories, to encourage other people like yourselves to start using your expertise and then turn it into a book and then use that book to speak. Or use your speaking skills and then turn it into a book. However you wish to do it, whatever suits you best, that you know that you can turn those stories of yours. So your book is going to be a combination of lessons and stories that are going to inspire people, that's going to make them resonate. They're going to feel, they're going to identify. When we women write our stories, you know there's going to be hundreds out there identifying with what you're saying. Oh my God, I've been through that. I've experienced that. I know what that's like. So here's some 5 keys. Got your pencils ready? Take your notes, because I know that you want to write another book, or you're going to write your first book. And this one is really going to bring you the recognition that you need and to give you that revenue that you want, the credibility, so that you can share it with others and spread the good word, tell your stories out there. So number 1, what is that book idea? Are you clear? Have you got a theme? Is it the heart and core of what you really, really, really want to say? Is it at that center? Is it the main ingredient? Will it carry through for 30, 40,000 words? Will it hold attention for that long? That's your question. Dig deep and find that. Number 2, who is the book for? Who's your reader? You can't write it for yourself. You know, I work with quite a few publishers, and they always say to me, I can tell from the first paragraph if this book, if the author has the reader in mind. Powerful, experienced eyes. So who's your reader? Who's the book for? Or is it just, personal? That's not enough. You have to know who your reader is when you start writing. It doesn't have to be just one person. If that helps, great. But know who your reader is. The third one, which is a real deep and dig, you've got to dig deep for this one, is why are you writing it? Is it for legacy? Is it to make money? Is it to tell everybody what a lovely time you had when you were traveling? What is that reason that you want to write the book? What's your why, if you want to put it in business terms? Why are you writing this book? Because when you start to write, writing is cathartic. You cannot imagine the professional benefits you can imagine. You can't imagine the personal benefits that you will have when you start to write your book. You can't imagine it. Every client that I work with, they have, it's one of the hardest things to tell them that they're going to have this cathartic experience through writing the book. Personal development, understanding of themselves, deeper explanation of their stories, wider knowledge, more connections. It's phenomenal. And I just sit there and watch them bloom and blossom, bloom and blossom. It's a wonderful thing. All the things that you have to write about that make you realize the extraordinary accomplishments that you've had in your life that will go into that book that gives it value. So know your why. And then the third thing is, who's going to publish your book? You see, if you work with me, I give you a publisher. I find you a publisher who suits your style of writing, who will self-publish for you, but give you the account. You hold the copyright, the ISBN, you have everything in your name. Nobody takes anything from you. There's no cut, there's no profit for anybody else. It's all for you. This is the way we do it here, over this side of the ocean. Self-publishing, where you take the whole account yourself. You have that professional book in your name. So what would it mean to you? What would it mean to you right now if you had a book in your hand with your name on it? What would that mean to you? Would that fill you with, I don't know, joy, love, security, happiness? What would that make you feel if you had that book in your hand now, with your name on it? You know, I just found out yesterday that this woman, she's a top executive coach, traveled all over the world. She's just won the 100 Women Global Award. She never thought, I mean, she's a mature woman now, worked with all kinds of Murdochs and Maxwells and people like that. But what her stories are, the transformation that she's been able to go through and that she's offering her reader. She's now one of the 100 women, global women awarded. That is an extraordinary transformation, professional and personal. So number 5, how do you promote the book? So you've got the book, you know, that song, Now That We Found Love, what are we going to do with it? So now you have your book. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with that book? So many authors just say, well, I've done the book. That's it. I don't have to do anything else. That's just the beginning of this beautiful journey. The promotion is where your life as an author starts. You know, my motto is our voice and our pen are our 2 most powerful tools of communication, as Michael knows really well. Bon appetit. And it is, our voice and our pen are the tools that we use to communicate. And it's through speaking and writing that you can grow your business and have that wealthy life. Have something to give to your, you know, a book is a gift and a product you can keep giving and selling again and again and again. You can use it as a gift and as a product, as a way into all kinds of worlds that you want to step into. Writing and speaking. So I know some of you already have books, but I leave that question with you still. Is it giving you the recognition, the revenue, and the credibility that you want? If not, you need to talk to me. And if you want to write a book, then I'm going to offer you a compelling book breakthrough session where we can explore those 5 keys to see, are you ready? Because not everybody is. Some people have an idea and it's a chapter. It's great. It's a blog. It's an article. It might even be a play. But is it enough for a book? So I'm going to put that link and I'm going to leave you with that question again. What would it mean to you if you had a book with your name on it that was packed with your expertise, full of your value, full of those stories that you know will really reach out and connect with the people that you want to work with, that you want to be around, your community? What would that mean to you to have that book, that quality book? Think about that. Take that away. Drink with it, eat with it, celebrate with it, swallow it, enjoy it. And I shall put that link in if you want to make that call with me. We've got 6-hour time difference. I'm over in Spain. It's not too much. It's not too much. It's not like Pacific Coast or Australia, which is hell. But for those of you who are wanting to write, just, you know, as Mila said earlier, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, there's a wonderful exercise you can start with. 2 words, I remember. And off you go with your pencil. And use a pencil, use your hand. There's a special connection. I remember, and off you go. It's beautiful. Your voice and your pen are your 2 most powerful tools. Thank you.
Thank you.